Hello and welcome back to episode 2 of Insufferable with me, your host, Lindsay Howe. First and foremost, I would like to thank you all for the support on episode 1. Really like to thank you guys. No, but for real, thank you guys for just being real ass bitches and listening to the episode. I did listen back to some of it and I'm like, okay, well, I should probably pick up the fucking pace. Maybe stop saying fuck so much. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that second one, but yeah. I'm going to get better. I'm going to do the thing. You know. All in time, or whatever, I don't know. What do people say? Anyways, so here we are, episode 2. Wow, I'm a veteran now. I'm a podcast veteran. Yeah, so today's topic is the body image of it all. And you know what? We did a lot of introductions on me in the last episode. But I was having a conversation with a friend of mine about some of the first experiences I had where someone made me question my worth. And they were in literal grade school. So I thought we could go over some of those. And I don't know. I think a lot of people women mostly, will relate to these experiences. So everyone's gonna be like, damn, that fucking happened to me too. You know, that's why I sidetrack. I think that we're living in a simulation, and I'm not like crazy about it. Like, I'm not on Reddit in a fucking thread talking about it, but hey, once you realize that everyone is having the same exact experiences as you, it's like, how original can this life be? There's no way. And once memes came out and you could pair a random picture with some text of, you know, me when I see blah, 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 or whatever, and it's just like a picture unrelated to what you're typing out, it's like, come on, bro. How is everyone relating to this? I'll tell you how. Because we're in a simulation, okay? There's only so many buttons on the fucking keyboard that they can give us when they're simulating our stupid lives. So anyway, we'll probably go into simulation theory at some point in the podcast. Again, I'm not crazy about it, but it is a way that I cope with the tragedy that is this timeline that we are in. Sometimes there's only so many explanations for the absolute bullshit that we go through on this planet, in this life, in this simulation. So yeah, I feel like, I don't know, that's just how I feel. Anyway, I know a lot of you will relate to these stories, and yeah, so let's get started. The thing is, I remember like yesterday, the first time someone called me fat. And at the time, I did not know I was fat. And to be fair, I was also 10 years old. So to call a 10-year-old fat is sort of like cruel. But I got called fat by a kid, right? And what's even funnier too is this fucking kid, I'm like, should I name drop him or not? I am almost 100% certain that he doesn't remember me at all, because this was literally in the 4th grade. But this bitch named Jonathan, I don't know how you're gonna fucking be a bully with that kind of name. You can't make this shit up, dude. It's all on the fucking simulation keyboard. You know what I mean? They made it up. We can't make it up. We all went to recess one day in the 4th grade, and the bell rang and we were coming back to class after recess, and we were running back, you know what I mean? You run back to the class or whatever, and there was this other kid that I was joking with, this other boy, and I was sort of like joking with him about something, Don't really remember what it was, but it was casual and cool. And Jonathan came up and he was kind of like wrestling the kid as we were running into class, and he had like his arm around his neck or whatever. And me and this kid are, joking or whatever. And then Jonathan's bitch ass, he was like, he looks me dead in my face, but he's talking to that other kid. He's like, "What are you doing talking to this fat lady?" Not me disassociating for a second. Fat lady. This is the 4th grade. I wish I had a budget like for this show that I could like fucking do a flashback and get some fucking child actors to act this out to show you exactly what it was like from my perspective. But I don't even know if I'd want to put a child actor through that. You know what I mean? Because we were literally in the 4th grade. I don't know what age that is, like 10 or 11. I don't know. So he said, "What are you doing talking to this fat lady?" And in that moment, which I remember very vividly, I had absolutely no idea that I was fat. And I'll tell you, I was a little chunky, but we're 10 and 11. I mean, like there is a very prominent age where you sort of blow up for a little bit, right? Because it's like, it's just growth. It's just a fucking growth spurt. Like, what are you going to do? Like, you go from looking like a regular kid to like, you're a fucking Veruca Salt or whatever. And then you even back out after you go through puberty and your hormones and all of that shit. So I'm over here like hella fucking confused. And also hurt, because I'm like, who the fuck? Fat? Me? I'm going to insert a picture of the girl who is me at this age. And I will tell you, I'm going to insert the picture because this is one of my favorite pictures of myself, okay? Because she is giving, she's kind of giving fat. She's giving chunky. She's giving like, here's what she's giving. Is she's giving not a fucking care in the world. Not a care in the world. The bitch is just living her life, dude. Running around in the sun at recess. Little did she know, in only a minute's time, her whole fucking life would change. Her whole image of herself would be altered by this one little comment. And I hate when people say, words don't hurt. Words don't hurt. Yes, they fucking do when you're fucking 11 years old. And someone introduced self-hatred to me. What a fucking dick, dude. And you know what? On a side note, I fucking looked him up. Because I'm like, I know this motherfucker is doing some of the dumbest shit you've ever fucking heard of now. Like, there's no way that I would ever want to trade places with him. You know what I mean? But I did find him on LinkedIn, and it's kind of funny because bro aged like milk, dude. VP of Finance. Bro! I'm sorry for you. I bet he's, dude, I'm not going to go into how much I still hate this guy because, again, this was like 100 years ago, but it is, I will say, satisfying to see what he looks like right now. He's on my computer right now. I'm not going to show you guys, but I know this is him, and he's fucking tragic, dude. Aged like wine, balding, wearing the worst fucking outfit in your stupid LinkedIn photo. Anyway. That's not what this is about, because Jonathan didn't ruin my life, but he did introduce me to self-hatred, which was very confusing to me at the time. And I think I asked my mom when I got home that day, like, am I fat? And, God bless my mom, but she had her own body image issues. So every woman in my life was trying to lose weight. Okay. And this was the 90s. So everybody was on fucking Weight Watchers. I remember my mom was on Weight Watchers, I think it was, when the fad was to, first of all, get a salad anywhere we went. And we always were like eating out. We would always go to like Chili's or whatever. And they would be like, oh, you get a salad, you get the dressing on the side. And then the way you put the dressing on is you dip your fork in the salad dressing. And then you get your bite of the salad and you do it like that. You don't, and by the end of the salad, you haven't eaten all of the dressing, right? Because the dressing is always the like worst nutritional part of the salad or whatever. That's what I learned as a young kid. I also ended up in Weight Watchers with my mom, and my best friend and her mom also all went to Weight Watchers when we were in high school. Like, the lose weight of it all has, since that moment, consumed my life. Even today, even now, even in this fucking moment, I just started a fucking regimen yesterday with like a real ass bitch and a cool ass trainer, and like, you know, I trust her and she knows that I'm sick in the head when it comes to this shit, but it's like, at the same time, it's like it's like that fucking trend where like you put a fucking video of yourself or whatever, like she doesn't know it right now, but she's about to, you know, fucking break her leg and lose her whole career dancing or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that whole, this was the moment for me when Jonathan called me a fat lady for no good reason, by the way. We weren't even fighting. And I was talking to another kid and like having fun, you know, in the sun at recess, bro. So that was sort of the downfall of, you know, the confidence of it all. Now I got hella confidence and I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm way past that. I mean, obviously I always want to lose weight, but like, don't we all? And it's kind of hard to get out of that mindset. But I think that this moment is burned. And you know, like in Inside Out, when there's core memories, girl, all my core memories are bad ones, bro. I don't even remember anything good that happened. Like the core memory of me having fun at recess, and then it turned into like sadness touched it. And then it turned into this fucking fat lady comment that, you know, proceeded to ruin my whole life. But, you know, I'm fine now. I'm better. But I think it's like, it's just one of those things that you remember, you know, it's a core memory, and that is unfortunate because I didn't deserve that. And that's why I love that picture of myself, because I look at her and I'm like, not a fucking care in the world. You know, before this moment, she had nothing to fucking worry about. And I'm wearing my favorite shirt. Okay, the best thing to make fun of me in this fucking picture of me is those glasses, girl. But this was like 1997. This is the kind of glasses everybody was wearing. It's not like there was actually cool, like, thick frames like that people would wear. Like, no. And I'm lucky I even got those. Like, we probably didn't even have health insurance at the time. I, like, probably didn't even, like, have the opportunity to pick out, like, some cool-ass glasses. And I didn't really have, like, much style at that point. Even though I have always been obsessed with clothes and shoes, the styling of it all, you know, I'm just fucking 9 years old, 10 years old, 11 years old. Like, of course I got those glasses. And once I figured out that those glasses were whack, I stopped wearing them. And then I stopped wearing glasses for years and years and years. And I'm blind, dude. I can't be out here wearing no fucking glasses. So that's another thing. It's like, God damn. It's like, when I see a kid, I'm like, I wish that no one ever fucking makes you question yourself, or like no one ever tells you that you're ugly or you're fat or you're whatever it may be. Braun, can you not eat out of your bowl right now? I don't know if you guys can hear that. If you can, I'm really sorry. There's only a couple pellets of food left in my cat's bowl, which is pretty close by. So if you can hear that, I am sorry. Bro, not the crunching. Hold on, let me fix this. I just moved it farther away. Hopefully we can't hear it. So anyway, that was the first memory. And then there's another memory that I remembered. Also a core memory, and this was, you know, much later in high school. I think this was like probably like freshman sophomore year of high school, I sat behind this kid named Brandon. I don't remember his last name, but I do remember he was ugly as fuck. So there's that. But anyway, I sat behind him. I don't know if you remember. Maybe I'll try to insert a clip so you guys can get the visual of it. But in science class, it's not like individual desks, right? It's like one big desk and there's chairs all around it. And then there's like 4 or 5 of those in the class, right? So because you're always like pairing up with people, like doing teams in science to do like experiments or whatever we were doing in science. So that's kind of how science tables usually looked in the class. So that was me. So anyway, I was on one table and Brandon was at this other table, and our seats were back to back, right? And so if I back up my seat, it's probably going to hit his seat. If he backs his up, he's going to hit mine. You know what I mean? There wasn't a lot of space behind us, right? Because they're cramming all these kids in the class because that's how they do in California. So he used to fucking make fun of me because he swore that he wasn't able to, he swore that he was so close to his desk he couldn't back up because I was behind him and I was so fat that I couldn't scooch in far enough to give him some breathing space. And he used to always fucking talk shit. He used to be like, yeah, well, fucking fatty behind me or whatever. Like, I can't fucking, oh my God, I can't back up because like this fucking fat bitch is behind me all this. Dude, it's like men have been menning since the 4th grade, dude. You guys wonder why we fucking develop this, cringe factor for all of you guys. Like, you've been so fucking mean to us our whole lives. It's crazy that I would even consider marrying a man after everything they've done to me. Anyway, that's beside the point. So he used to always fucking make a comment about how he couldn't back up because I was so fat. Meanwhile, I'm a regular sized person now, okay? I'm not in the 4th grade in my, puberty body blowing up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've went through puberty at this point and I'm a regular sized person. And not that really fucking matters, but it's like the idea that I was fat keeps getting brought up, and I'm like looking at myself like, am I? Because I don't know, like, are you guys looking at the same bitch? I feel like I'm pretty average, but apparently, according to every fucking man ever known, I'm a fucking like cow or some shit. You know what I mean? So one day, like, I think one time I made like a comment to him, like, bro, seriously, like, you have plenty of room. Like, shut the fuck up. And the next day, he came to fucking school with a white tee, which he had written with marker on the tee, no fat chicks. Bro. What the fuck? And he definitely meant that to me. He wore that to school for me, which now that I'm thinking about it, he was literally up last night. He probably had to get a new white shirt so he could fucking write this stupid phrase on it and wear it to school. And then when I went to go sit in my chair in that class, he was there and his fucking, like, he hadn't sat down yet. And he was kind of like sitting on the table facing me. And everyone was like, oh shit, like, damn. Because everyone used to hear him make comments about how he couldn't back up his chair all the time. And so they're all kind of looking at me. Dude, I was mortified. I was like, really, dude? Really, no fat chicks? You ruined a shirt for that? Like, what the what are these boys doing? It is like, it's so crazy to think about that they're really out here acting like that. It's crazy. And you know what? I'm not even gonna lie. The adults in my life were constantly commenting on my body as well. And the thing that really pissed me off, now it pisses me off. At the time, I didn't know. I thought it was more of a subtle jab when I was younger. But fun fact, I was an Irish dancer when I was young. Around these eras of these stories, I was Irish dancing. And I'm talking competition, bitch. I am literally competing in all different states, dude. I went to Canada. I did the fucking... I did the, West Coast fucking championships. Like, I'm placing, kind of high. If you know anything about Irish dance, there's like, for the competitions, there's like the beginners, and then the novice, and then the preliminary, and then it moves up from there, and you have to like stay in beginner until you win first place in everything. And then once you win first place in all the dances, you move up to novice, and you have to win first place in all of those. And it's like, there's like one competition per month, and we're doing boot camps at the damn dance school, and over here, like, it was a lifestyle. So we are competing. I am competing, and I'm really passionate about it too. And so there was a point, I had moved up to open, which is the highest level that you can move up to, right? Even if you win first place in open, you can't move up from there. You just continue to compete in open until you just don't want to compete anymore. Like, maybe you compete until you win first place, or maybe you'll never win first place, i.e. me. There was this girl in my category. It was like based on age, and this girl, thin as a fucking pencil and really good dancer, I will give her that. Obviously she was good, and she was Irish. I wasn't. I was like from Long Beach. She was Irish. Maggie Darlington, hope you're doing well, girl. Hope you're doing well. Hope all those winnings, maybe she's in fucking Riverdance now. I don't know. Probably not. I don't think any of us actually went into dancing, but everyone would always say, you are a really talented dancer. Your feet are beautiful. Like, your steps are perfect. Like, you are actively winning a bunch of stuff, but you'll probably never like be a champion because you are chubby. Chubby was the word that adults used to describe my young body to me, not behind my back, to my face. They're calling me chubby to my face and telling me that the fact that I am chubby, and that's just the way my body is shaped, right? Granted, I'm doing boot camps, bitch. We're doing wall sits. We're doing, jump squats. We're fucking running laps. We're doing the dances over and over and over again. We're doing full boot camps in class. I'm exercising so much. Meanwhile, at home, I'm having spaghetti with Texas toast. I'm having meatloaf. I'm having shake and bake chicken, pastaroni, hamburger helper. Like, those are the meals I'm having at home. Not to mention the Taco Bell and the McDonald's of it all. I don't even think I even knew what a healthy thing was. And when I started dancing, my mom used to take me to Jamba Juice. And at Jamba Juice, I would get me a smoothie. And I thought that was being healthy, was getting a smoothie at Jamba Juice. And I would also get wheatgrass shots at Jamba Juice. They were like $1. Oh my God. Can you imagine getting a wheatgrass shot for $1 in this fucking economy? That'd be crazy. So I would take a lot of wheatgrass shots. So that was kind of what I thought was healthy. It's like the nastiest fucking thing you could ever think of, which is a wheatgrass shot. I don't know if you ever had one, but damn, girl, they're not good. They're not good, but they're supposed to be healthy for me. And I'm on my way to fucking boot camp where I'm going to get my fucking ass kicked in dance class. And, that's what I was doing. But the adults, and my teacher was, sort of like a thicker woman as well. And so I sort of resonated with her, and she resonated with me. And I love her. Ashleen, love you, girl. But she would always be like, you and I are bigger girls. And I'm like, I am 9. Why does everybody keep telling me that I am fucking chubby, I'm bigger, and that is going to hold me back visually from winning these competitions?
The fuck? I was crushing it. I was a beautiful dancer. I was a beautiful dancer. And I was fucking crushing it in competition. But if there was some skinny bitch there, sometimes I would win because some of the girls that were like big hard hitters and they were really like thin. And you know what too? Like there's a lot of jumping in Irish dance. So if you're thin and you don't have any fucking center of gravity and you're floating around the stage and I'm up there trying to get air and I'm coming down. I'm coming down hard, girl. Like that's the type of shit I was on. And that's also when I learned that my center of gravity is insane. You know, fat or not. I go up, I'm coming down hard, girl. Very hard. Okay? There has been times in my life where I was really thin. You know what I mean? I got down to like 115 pounds or whatever. You know, eating no grains, no nothing, just like fully mentally ill, fucking anorexic type shit. And my center of gravity was still pulling me in, girl. I was not doing, like, the center of gravity is insane. And I will stand by that. I'm not a scientist, but I know that the full force of gravity is in my core. And it brings me down. And that's just how it is. So, yeah, the word chubby haunted me for a long time as a kid. And like I said, that's what the adults were calling me. The adults weren't saying like, oh, you're fat, you're overweight. Nobody would ever say that to me. They would just say, you're chubby. And it's going to bring you down as far as competition goes. You know, you could be the best dancer ever, but you're chubby. So I don't know what you want me to do. You know, you're never going to win because of that. Not never going to win. I'll take that back. I didn't say that, but there was another girl who had the same body as me, Katie Dean. Hope you're doing well, girl. I haven't talked to her in fucking like 30 years. But she had the same body as me, and she was also a very talented dancer. And she was the only other girl that I could share dresses with, because the dresses of it all in Irish dance, girl, I'm not going to get into it because it's lore. It would be the lore drop of the century. But my mom's a seamstress, so I always had a new dress. And I never really had to worry about sharing dresses with girls. But when I first got a dress, the only girl I could share one with was this girl, Katie, who also, you know, was chubby. They would be like, oh, let me link you up with Katie because you guys are both fat. They wanted us to be friends so bad. And she was a bad bitch and she was really fun to hang out with. And I had no issues with her. But now that I think back on it, like everybody was pushing a friendship on us because we were like one of the only two fat girls who were dancing and competing. Like, bro. It's it reminds me of that fucking show. God damn, I can't remember, but it's like a fat girl and somebody wants to hook her up with like their friend or whatever, and she meets up with him and he's fat, and then she's like offended that the friend wanted to hook her up with him. She's like, why? Because we're both fat. That's kind of how it felt, like the relationship they were trying to push on me with this girl Katie. But she was a bad bitch, you know. She was really cool and she was really talented and so beautiful. She's also blonde, and you know, face card did not decline. And that's how I felt about myself too. I'm like, I got the face, girl. I got the face. I have, you know, face card. Before kids were saying face card does not decline, I knew my face card was never declining. Okay. I knew I had very unique eyes, you know, they're very cute, very pretty. You know, I would look in the fucking mirror and be like, I got this little cute little button nose. I got, you know, my lips aren't super full, but I don't have no lizard lips. Like, you know, just the whole analyzing of my face, you know, as a young kid who's now fucking worried about her body and being chubby and fat lady or whatever, you know what I mean? No fat chicks. Like, it's just like all the shit running through my head about like, what do I look like? I knew my face card was never going to decline. That was before the acne set in, but that's another story. So yeah, that was basically... I'm thinking in my head right now in this moment, if I ever fixed my lips to tell an 11-year-old girl anything about what her body looks like. I am sick to my stomach, fam. I could never imagine in any scenario me right now in 2025 ever telling a young girl that anything about her body, anything. Whether I'm saying that she's too thin or she's chunky or chubby or whatever the fuck it is, I could never imagine even fucking saying that to a young girl. And all of you should take fucking notes. All of you motherfuckers who want to comment on whether it's your own kid, you're telling them about their body, like, no. If your kid comes to you and they're like, I want to be fit, or, I want to, get into cheerleading or fucking, some kind of sport or something where they're going to have to sort of get a little athletic to do the job, then yeah, you teach them how to exercise and tell them that, going to the gym or like working out or doing sort of like activities like that. It's like really not about the body and how it looks. It's about how it works, right? Like we stretch our body so that we're limber and we can move around. You know what I mean? If you're kicking the ball in fucking soccer, like there's obviously things that you can do to help your body do a fucking sport. But you shouldn't be. And that's when your kid comes to you and says, like, or if they come to you and they're like, what does it mean to have a healthy meal? Like, is this McDonald's healthy? And then you could tell them, no, it is not. But we are a low-income family, and that is kind of what we eat. So we could make healthier choices if you want to talk about that. There's plenty of resources available to these kids now that we didn't have in the 90s, in the early 2000s. The early 2000s was the worst fucking time to grow up, I'll tell you. It was kind of the worst and it was kind of the best. But as far as body image goes, oh my God, dude, we didn't stand a chance. We did not stand a fucking chance. I don't know what the boys were going through, but the girls, we were going through it. And it was like people were encouraging you to throw up your food. Bro, what? Not the fucking bulimia of it all. That was encouraged. That's what all the cool girls were doing. Vomiting. And let me tell you, there was a time in my life where I got rotavirus. And this was probably like in like my junior year or sophomore year of high school. And I got rotavirus and I was straight up, trigger warning, throwing up 10 times a day. 10 or more times per day. For like several weeks, right? Like after the 5th day, my mom took me to the hospital and I proceeded to stay in the hospital for like a month because of rotavirus, and it fucked me up in a bunch of different ways. But let me tell you, when you keep fucking throwing up, the enamel on your teeth breaks down. And so I had gaps in between all of my teeth because I was vomiting so much. And that was rotavirus, okay? That wasn't bulimia. But when I think back on that time where I was so sick and I was, low-key near death. Like my body was shutting down. I was shitting blood, by the way, and I had to shit in a fucking pan so the doctor could look at it, and it was literally fucking like blood shit. Sorry, I didn't mean to get this like intense about it, but that's all to say, that's what I was going through. And in my fucking head, I was like, damn, I'm gonna get so skinny. I'm gonna be fucking skeleton. Like, that's all I was worried about. And I was passing away. And I was like, open casket, girl, put me in some fucking size 2 jeans. I finally made it. I finally made it to the size 2 that I've been fucking trying to do this whole time. Bro, that is some diabolical shit, dude. A 15-year-old having that outlook on a fucking sickness like that. Just like so stoked to be skinny. And bro, I'm laughing because it's crazy. Like when I say it out loud, like I did have this conversation with a friend of mine
the other day. That's why I was like, dude, this is a pod. This is a pod episode because people can relate. And I think that people need to know that they're, oh God, and the kids these days with the fucking internet. The internet of it all, like, at least the last, like, 10 years, like, being thick has been the beauty standard. But then there's also, like, the body positivity of it all, where it's like you can't be thin, you can't be thick, and you can't change your body either way because that means you don't love yourself. And it's like, dude, it's so confusing. It's like we'll never be able to keep up. We'll never be able to keep up. And that's why you just need to fucking hone it. Like, lock in, dude. Lock in on the fact that all of it is propaganda, basically. We don't really need to listen to whatever the newest fucking study is. Like, it's, bro, come on. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. And I don't want our kids to experience that, and it's sort of inevitable, especially with the internet of it all and just being just that absolute, it's a tragedy. It really is a tragedy. And I do feel bad. And I've been through it, and that's kind of how it all went down hill for me. And I don't want to be skinny anymore. I have a cute little body type that I like to maintain, and whether that's attractive to, first of all, a man, you could fucking miss me with that. Men will fuck a hole in the couch. I can't even express enough to, I would never want to say that to a young girl, but I do want them to know the overarching theme of, like, men will never have a standard. They never will, dude. They'll fucking put their dick in a wall and they don't know what's on the other side. It could be a fucking rattlesnake. They don't know, but they're willing to try just to put their dick in the wall. It's like their dicks are, like, probably the dumbest thing. And there's nothing that we should never chase the male gaze, right? Because the male gaze is like, it's just media. And men think that they like certain types of women and certain types of body types because the media told them. You know what I mean? The media is telling us everything. And so if you lock in and lock out of the media situation of it all, it's like, maybe we just learn to love ourselves and take care of ourselves. How fucking hard is that, dude? How fucking hard is that? It is hard when people are telling you that you are ugly or fat or stupid or whatever. It's like, when you're young, you're so susceptible to, like, believing that and internalizing it. And then you're like, I can change. It's like, but you really don't have to, though. You really don't have to. Like, you're sort of just like your own person, or whatever it may be. And yeah, let me look at my notes here, because I did have a couple of notes. Fuck, I need to stop sniffing in the mic too. That's kind of like, that's not very podcasty of me. And I'm not going to edit it out because I'm not an editor. Oh, I fucking wrote down, I want to make chubby merch. I want to make merch that says chubby on it, because you know what? Whatever. Chubby is actually cute now. Like, I know it traumatized me as a kid, in a deep-seated way, but it's like, imagine I made fucking chubby merch. And you know how you're like, oh, if I could tell, like, my younger self, like, what I'm doing now, like how I am or whatever, you know what I mean? I'd be like, girl, we made fucking merch that says chubby on it, and it's sold out, girl. That's what we're doing now. So, fuck all the insecurities. It's like, it's not worth it. I did want to talk about, having the body image issues of, people telling me I'm fat and chubby or whatever. But I remember the time that the first time I ever saw my own body in, like, a 3-way mirror in a dressing room at, like, clothing store or whatever, and that shit fucked me up so bad. I was like, damn, I should never look at my body in a 360 view like this. Like, the back of me is none of my business. And I was probably like 13 or something when I saw that. And that's when I found out I had a fat back. Girl, what? I have a fat back, and I hate that the funny thing to say now is big back. Like, oh, you're big backing by like eating and snacking and stuff. I'm like, don't tell me that shit, dude. Don't bring it back. Don't bring the fucking back fat back. But I remember looking at myself in the three-way mirror being like, bro, what the fuck? I just want to look at myself like straight on, but as soon as you turn, it's like, what happened? What happened to my body, dude? This is what I look like? Like, stop. And it's like, when you see a picture of yourself, from an angle that's not like, just me and a person, you know what I mean? It's like, sometimes some things don't need to be seen. Some things you don't need to know. And for me, I never needed to know that I had a fat back, because ever since that moment, I've been like, wow, damn, I am going to be in the gym doing fucking lat pull downs for the rest of my fucking life. How about that? So the three-way mirror fucks me up when I think about it. I remember being so shocked. I was so shocked when I saw it. I was like, wait. And every time I go into a dressing room and they have a three-way mirror, I'm fucking re-traumatized, dude. It's giving trauma. It's giving, oh no, child. It's just none of my business what's back there. It's really not. It's like the backseat of your car. You don't know what goes on back there, and you shouldn't, Say you go back there and there's dead animals and stuff, and you would never know. Well, not dead animals, but maybe like a dead fly or something back there, and you would never know because you never go back to your back seat. You know what I mean? So yeah, some things just don't need to be said. There's apps that you can get where it's or maybe not app. Well, yeah, there are apps, but there are different things you can get where you can it'll take a 360 of your body so you can kind of see. And yeah, dude, I just don't need to see my own body from from a bird's eye view. And I'm telling you, you don't either. I remember also, I went and I don't know, several years ago, I went in for a consultation to get a boob job. I was going through a thing. And when I went there, they were like, okay, cool. We're going to take this imaging of you. And then we're going to basically Photoshop the boob job on you. And so you can see what it looks like at different sizes and different types of, silicone versus saline or whatever. So I was like, okay, cool. I just sniffed in the fucking thing again. I have some kind of allergies going on. I'm really sorry, you guys. I know it's gross. And it's subconscious when I'm sniffing in the mic, I'll get better. Okay. Anyway, moving on. They were like, okay, basically take your shirt off and then put your arms out, wingspan. And this camera is going to go around you. It's like the fucking glam bot at the goddamn Oscars. It went all around you, took this 360 of the top half of your body, with nothing on, by the way, you're in the nude. And then they bring it into the program or whatever. And then you and the doctor sit there and sort of play around with the Photoshop. They Photoshop your freaking breasts on. It's so crazy. And I was like, okay, cool. I was kind of ready. I was like, oh, I really want to try it on. I really wanted to try on they have bras that you put on that have the CC size or whatever that, whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. So then we did that. And then I put my clothes back on. We went into the other room where they were going to do the Photoshop of it all. And I fucking saw the 3D fucking picture of myself with my arms out, and I was like, what that's what I look like? What is going on, dude? I fear I shouldn't ever look at myself in this way. It's crazy. I didn't know. This is none of my business. And at that point, I was like, and it was probably good because at that point I was like, a boob job is not going to help me. It is not going to help what's going on here. Like, I need to go in. I need to dig deep and find out that, I don't need any of this. I just need to fucking lock in and accept my body the way it is. I mean, this has been going on for 20 years. The turmoil of body image. It's like, I can't do it anymore. I'm done. I'm going to rehabilitate myself and first of all, never look at a 3D picture of myself ever again. And I will stand to that today. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see it all because I'm in a good place now. I'm in a place where I can't fuck me up anymore. I mean, it is quite literally, I don't have any more space for it. And it sucks that I'm fucking going to be 35 next month. And I've only, figured this philosophy out in like the last, 5 years of my life where I'm just like, you know what? It is what it is. Why the fuck would I spend so much goddamn time worrying about these types of shits? You know what I mean? Like I work out for my heart health, period. That's what I do. And I do like to have a fatty. And to get a fatty, I lift weights. And guess what? That's also good for your heart health. And building muscle mass is good for your blood sugar. And, there are so many other reasons to eat healthy and exercise that have nothing to do with the way that you fucking look. Spoiler alert, you actually don't have to worry about the aesthetics of your body 24 hours a day. Whoa, isn't that crazy? Like, oh man, the amount of time I spent on it is just, fuck, another sniff. I'm sorry, you guys. Anyway, I have a young niece. She's 16. She's going to be 17 this year. And, she's got the same body as all of the women in our family, and so anytime she's having body image issues, I can't really blame her, right? I mean, and she's living in this fucking timeline, and skinny talk is here to play. It's like, absolutely not, dude. I don't want her to go down that path. And I want her to look at me and see and hear that I'm not worried about my body. Even if my body type is on her For You page as a fat bitch who's unhealthy and doesn't take care of it. You know what I mean? If that's what she is being fed on her algorithm, that someone who looks like me isn't healthy or whatever, I don't want her to believe that. I want her to look at me and say, she is healthy. Like, I take her to exercise classes with me, like workout classes that are run by really badass, strong women. And it's not about aesthetics. It's not about that. It's about, getting your heart rate up and just taking care of your heart health and building muscle mass for, all the other things in your body and, nourishing yourself with stuff that you enjoy eating and also is, good for you. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be miserable. And I fear that growing up in the early 2000s, like the whole thing was absolute misery. Like I said, they were encouraging us to throw up our food. Like it was a cycle that it's like, if we don't break this at some point in history, it's going to kill us. That reminds me of one other story that I'm going to tell. Actually, I think we're going to be out of time here pretty soon, but I do want to tell this one other story about when I was in the hospital with rotavirus. And my main concern was getting skinny, and even though I was fucking shitting blood and stuff, sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up again. But after I wasn't contagious anymore, they put me in a room. I was still staying overnight. I was there for like over a month. And I wasn't allowed to eat, by the way. I was off food altogether because the rotavirus basically gave me pancreatitis and autoimmune. And so my pancreas was what was making me throw up, because your pancreas gives you enzymes to break down fats. So if you eat anything with a fat in it, like even if it's like avocado, like you will throw it up because your body cannot break it down. It's like, get it out of here. We don't know what to do with it because the pancreas is fucking shit up. She's not working. She's out of commission. So we can't break anything down that has fat in it. So it's going up the tube. So that's basically what I was going through. So it had been probably more than 2 weeks that I hadn't eaten at all. I was only surviving on IV fluids, Gatorades, and Jello. They would let me eat Jello. And the Jello fucking was so nasty. They would bring me the yellow one. It tastes like fucking Pledge. Fucking Pledge, the cleaning product. That's what yellow Jello tastes like. So nasty. So anyway, they were like, okay, you're no longer contagious with the rotavirus. I was not shitting blood anymore. Now I'm onto this pancreas thing and I'm off food. I haven't eaten in 3 weeks. And every day the doctor would come in and they'd be like, how are you feeling? I'd be like, I am fucking hungry. That is how I'm feeling. I'm starving. Literally, I'm starving. And they're like, well, you're not going to starve because you have IV fluids and we're getting nutrients through that. And I'm like, I'm going to fucking lose my mind if somebody doesn't allow me to eat a fucking meal at this point. Like, I was fucking tripping, dude. And anyway, they put me in a room with another girl, and that girl was an anorexic. And she was in the hospital for her anorexia because she was so low on the weight scale. She was like, I think she was like 87 pounds or something like that. And so we're sharing a room. I mean, there's only like a curtain in between us. And this fucking girl, they were bringing her cookies and burgers and pizzas. And they were like, you have to eat. You have to get into the 80th percentile of adult weight in order to be just discharged from the hospital. So, and they would bring her food to eat, and then she would throw it away in the trash can, like low key, and cover up the trash can and stuff so that they couldn't see that she was throwing the food away. And then the doctor would come back in, or the nurse would come back in. They'd be like, oh, okay, did you eat it? She'd be like, yeah, I ate it. Like, it was so good. Like, blah, 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 blah. She was sick. She was sick with the anorexia. And she also belched like so loud, like the gnarliest burps you've ever heard in your whole fucking life. This girl, the belches were so crazy. I'll never forget it. Nobody in my family will forget it, because people from my family would come and visit me because I had been there for weeks, and my aunt would come, my best friend came, and people would visit me there a lot. And this bitch would be fucking belching, and everyone would be like, what the fuck? This girl sounds like a fucking sailor. Like, oh my God, I can't even describe how like gut wrenching these fucking belches were. And it was probably the anorexia of it all that was like making her so gassy in that way. But I remember not being able to eat at all, nothing at all except for lemon Pledge Jello. Meanwhile, the bitch they had me fucking sharing a room with is getting all the food in the fucking world sent to her, dude. She was getting fucking Oreos, Chips Ahoy packets, ice cream, frozen yogurt with toppings, pizza, burgers, pasta, fucking all the meals that they offer. They're bringing them to her in droves because she can't leave until she gains weight. And I'm over here, I haven't eaten in 3 weeks. Like, how fucking fucked up was that of them to make me share a room with that bitch? And her family would come visit her, and she'd be like, home is where the heart is. Like, I need to go home. And her family would be like, yeah, but you're sick and you need to gain weight, and they're not going to let you out if you don't gain the weight. Like, you just need to gain, like, I think it was like 8 pounds that she had to gain or something while she was there. And she was fucking throwing away all this good food. And I was so fucking hungry, dude. And I remember when I finally was able to eat a meal, it was like sliced turkey, like thick sliced turkey with like gravy and mashed potatoes and like green beans. And I think my mom took a video of me eating it for the first time, and I was so fucking excited. Like, to fast for 30 plus days, against my own will, by the way, and to have my first meal from the fast be some fucking hospital cafeteria shit was tragic, but probably the best meal of my entire life. And, you know, I was actually in the hospital for much longer after that and everything, and I won't go into that. But yeah, I think that when we tell our young girls, we don't need to introduce to them any kind of questioning what they look like. We don't need to do that. That is something that is unnecessary. And if you're doing that to your daughter or your nieces, or, you know, if you're a teacher and you have kids and and I know, like, not a lot of people do, but it's like someone must, you know what I mean? Like, people in my life did it to me, and I don't consider them, like, you know, bad people. It was just the time. It was the time. It sucks, but it was the time. It was the early 2000s, dude. Heroin chic was in. And I was not heroin chic, dude. I was hamburger helper chic. Which, you know, hamburger helper's fire. It's good, you know, and that's what we could afford. That's what we ate. You know what I mean? And the spaghetti and the Texas toast and the meatloaf and the shake and bake chicken. It's like, those are things that I grew up eating. And that is... all of those things probably cost a lot of money now, actually, when I think about it. Like, a box of fucking hamburger helper probably running you like $5 to $6 now, when it was like, you know, $2 back in those days or whatever. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here. I was almost like a little bit scared that I wasn't going to have like much energy to talk about this today, but I really went off. And I hope that the women in my life, and, you know, really anybody who's ever struggled with the body image issue, can just lock in to the fact that it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Just take care of yourself. Whatever that looks like, do it. It's really that simple. Like, we don't have to complicate it that much. So, anyways, thank you so much for listening today. Please subscribe to the channel if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music. Follow the show, leave a comment, you know, whatever it is that people say to get their videos out there or whatever. And I do have a vlog channel that will be linked in the description. I'm vlogging a little bit, you know, just as a creative outlet. I like to make those, you know, funny little vlogs. So, if you want to watch those, that would be cool. It'll be linked in the description. And yeah, I will see you guys next week. I think I'm going to upload on Mondays. So I'll see you on Monday. Cool. Okay, bye.